Want to speak real Polish from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at polishpod101.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to Top Polish Words. My name is Marzena and today we will learn 10 must-know autumn vocabulary. So here we go. Sweater, sweater, sweater. Sweater basically means sweater. What you can hear often from your mom, if your mom is Polish, it would be załóż sweter, which means put on the sweater. So basically Polish moms are very much concerned about your health, and whenever it's getting colder and it's at autumn and they would like, oh, put on the sweater, załóż sweter. Deszczowy, rainy. Deszczowy, rainy. So deszcz means rain in Polish, and deszczowy, it's an adjective. For example, we can say, dzisiaj jest bardzo deszczowy dzień. Today is a very rainy day. When autumn comes in Poland, we got a lot of rainy days. It's not as bad as rainy seasons in some other countries, but be sure to get your umbrella ready. Wietrzny, windy. Wietrzny. Wietrzny means windy. We got a lot of windy days in październik and in listopad, which is basically October and November. So for example, you can say listopad jest raczej wietrzny, which means November is rather windy. Chłodny, cool, cold. Chłodny. Chłodny means cool or cold, and it's an adjective. It can be used to speak about weather. So, for example, you can say październik w Polsce jest chłodny. October in Poland is cold. You can also use it about person's character. So, for example, you can say that this person is chłodny, chłodna, depending on the gender, and this means that this person is just distance. Jesień, autumn. And the next one is jesień. Jesień means autumn. So you can say lubię jesień w Polsce. I like autumn in Poland, which I actually do because it's very beautiful. We do have all those leaves with like beautiful colors, orange and gold. And there is a lot of things to do, and you can go for a very nice walk around listopad or grudzień, which is November and December. It's getting quite cold, quite chłodno, and it's better to put on a jacket. Still, it's very nice for a walk. Zimno, cold. So the next word is, and it's getting even colder, it's zimno. Zimno means cold. So we already got chłodny, which was cool or cold, and this is an adjective. And you can say chłodno to make it an adverb. Zimno is an adverb and it means cold. You can say zimny to make it like an adjective, or zimno. Zimno is an adverb. If you're in Poland and it's December, it's rather cold in December, I would say it can get down to like, or even January, it can get down to like minus 25 degrees. So you can say, dzisiaj jest bardzo zimno, which means today is very cold. Kasztan, chestnut. Okay, and what's the best thing to do in Poland in autumn? Well, the best thing is to collect kasztany, or the singular kasztan. Kasztan means just a chestnut, and I guess this is the main thing we used to do. I mean, when I was little, and when autumn came, we were going out and then just collecting kasztany and making all those small like animals and stuff. I guess nowadays it's not so popular. If you want to go and collect chestnuts, you can say, chodźmy pozbierać kasztany. Let's go pick up the chestnuts. Koszula z długim rękawem. Long-sleeved shirt. Okay, so if your mom don't tell you, please put on your sweater, she will probably tell you, please put on a long-sleeve shirt, which is koszula z długim rękawem. Koszula is a shirt z długim rękawem. With long, długi, z długim rękawem, sleeve. And if you've got a Polish mom and you're going hiking, she will probably tell you, weź koszulę z długim rękawem. Take the long sleeve shirt. Święto Dziękczynienia. Thanksgiving. Okay, this one is not very Polish, but I guess you can use it, especially if you come from English-speaking country and you celebrate this one. Święto Dziękczynienia. Święto Dziękczynienia means just Thanksgiving. Święto is a kind of celebration, and dziękczynienia it's Thanksgiving, like dziękczynienie, dziękować, dziękować. You probably heard dziękuję, which means thank you. So dziękczynienie is like dziękować, dziękuję, thank you, and czynienie, which is like doing something, so doing the thank you thing. Święto Dziękczynienia. So you can get curious and ask, czy obchodzicie Święto Dziękczynienia? Do you celebrate Thanksgiving? Which in Poland probably you hear no. No, we don't. We do have better things like Christmas. Liść, leaf. And the last word for today is liść. I guess it's very difficult to pronounce. Liść. And it means leaf. When you go and walk around, it's beautiful autumn, golden leaves falling down, you are collecting your kasztany, chestnuts, and you see this very, very beautiful leaf. You can say, jaki ładny listek. Listek, it's the same liść, it's just like a smaller version of it. So you can say, jaki ładny liść as well. And if it's very small and cute, and it's like, oh, how cute. Jaki ładny listek. What a nice leaf. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and remember to like this video, and if you want more, just go to polishpod101.com. Thank you again, and see you next time. Cześć!
You are at a train station where you're attempting to buy an express ticket from a ticket machine. Which option should you choose for an intercity ticket? Which option should you choose for an intercity ticket? The option on the bottom left is for an express ticket.
Bilet na pociąg Intercity.
You are at a train station where you've just bought an express ticket. Which train car and seat number are you in? Which train car and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in train car number 1 in seat 3 next to the window.
Wagon pierwszy. Miejsce do siedzenia. Trzecie. Okno.
You are at a train station where you're reading the train schedule for an express ticket that you've just bought. On which days are there no express trains running? On which days are there no express trains running? There are no express trains running on public holidays and the third Sunday of every month.
Świąt państwowych, trzecią niedzielę miesiąca.
You are on a platform at a train station where you're waiting for your train. Suddenly, a message appears on the display. What does the message on the display mean? What does the message on the display mean? The display reads, "The next train will not stop."
Pociąg się nie zatrzymuje.
You are at a train station where you're looking for the best exit to catch a taxi. Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? You should take the east exit in order to get to the taxi rank.
Wyjście wschodnie.
Hi, I'm Joanna. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Polish expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Polish. We'll start speaking right away. But first, it's important to clarify that in Polish often there is a difference between formal and informal language. Let's first see how Polish people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Hi, I'm Joanna. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi cię poznać means nice to meet you, but Polish people don't really use this phrase. In informal situations, it's better if you just say miło mi. Start by saying cześć, jestem, then say your name. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Finally, if you want, say miło mi. Cześć, jestem Joanna. Miło mi. And now let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi pana poznać. Good day, my name is Joanna Suchecka. Nice to meet you. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi pana poznać. This is what you say if you're talking to a man. If you're talking to a woman, say dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi panią poznać. Dzień dobry, nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi panią poznać. So what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at these expressions together. Cześć has been substituted with the formal greeting dzień dobry, Polish for good day or good morning. Jestem Joanna also changed. Jestem simply means I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, you should avoid saying this. It's better to say nazywam się Joanna Suchecka, which means my name is Joanna Suchecka. Also, in formal situations, please remember to say your full name. Finally, pay attention to the ending. We went from miło cię poznać to miło mi pana or panią poznać. We changed cię into pana or panią. If you use cię, you're addressing someone around your age. But if you find yourself in a formal situation or talk to a person who's older than you, use pana to address a man or panią to address a woman. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in Polish is cześć. Jestem Joanna. Miło mi. The formal way to introduce yourself is dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi pana poznać. Or dzień dobry. Nazywam się Joanna Suchecka. Miło mi panią poznać. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you feel confused about the nice to meet you part, feel free to skip it. As I mentioned before, Polish people don't use it much. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands. It doesn't matter whether you're meeting a man or a woman. Do the handshake. Remember to make it quite firm. If your hand is too loose, it gives the other person a bad impression. We also say it feels like holding a dead fish. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase przepraszam. Czy mówisz po angielsku? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word przepraszam, which means excuse me. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to apologize in Polish. It's very easy. First of all, good news. We don't differentiate between I'm sorry and excuse me. In Polish, we have just one word, przepraszam, which can be used in both situations when we want to apologize or draw someone's attention. There's also no difference between formal and informal situations. It's always the same przepraszam. Let's go through some situations in which przepraszam can be used. If you want to draw someone's attention, just put przepraszam in front of the question. For example, przepraszam, czy to miejsce jest wolne? Excuse me, is this seat occupied? Or przepraszam, jak dojść do dworca? Excuse me, how can I get to the train station? In such a case, you can modify the question by adding panią if you're addressing a lady or pana if you're addressing a man. For example, przepraszam panią, jak dojść do dworca? Excuse me, ma'am, how can I get to the train station? The meaning is exactly the same as before. We just emphasize the gender of a person who we talk to. You can choose whatever version you like better. Both are correct and polite. The other situation in which we use przepraszam is when we apologize. As I mentioned before, we have only this one word for making an apology. We can use it both in formal and informal situations. If you want to make your apology more complex, you could use this phrase. Jestem ci winien przeprosiny. Jestem ci winien przeprosiny. Please note that this is spoken by a man. Woman would say, jestem ci winna przeprosiny. Jestem ci winna przeprosiny. This phrase means I owe you an apology. Usually, after saying this, you are expected to explain what you did wrong or the reason why you think you owe someone an apology. There's one colloquial word used to apologize among young people. It's almost the same as the English sorry. We say sorry. Sorry. It's okay to say it to your friends, but only in the case of a small mistake, something not very serious. For example, when you step on your friend's foot or when you want to refuse going out. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. Making an apology in Polish is very easy. It's enough to just say przepraszam. Here, you don't have to worry about speaking formally or informally, or the age and gender of the person you are talking to. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Polish. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Gotowi? Are you ready? Let's start. There are two ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest one. It's just one word. Dziękuję. Dziękuję. Dziękuję means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add bardzo. Dziękuję bardzo. If we want to thank a friend, usually we use a different, more casual word. Dzięki. Dzięki. Dzięki is very similar to the English thanks. So you shouldn't use it when your friend did something especially nice for you or when the situation is serious. We usually use it to thank for small favors. For example, if a friend bought a drink for us, lent us a pen, helped us carry our bags, and so on. How do you answer? It's easy. Here are two different ways to do it. The first is nie ma za co. Nie ma za co. This means you're welcome. Nie ma za co can be used with anybody, except in a very formal situation. In such cases, it's better to use this expression. Przyjemność po mojej stronie. Przyjemność po mojej stronie. Literally, this phrase means pleasure is on my side. It's not a very common thing to say among young people, or between friends and family members. But it will be considered very good manners if you answer with this expression in a formal situation, such as while talking to your boss or speaking to someone much older than you. You can also simply say it to someone you don't know very well. So when someone says dziękuję to you, you can reply with nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. If you hear dzięki, it might be a bit too much to respond to this casual phrase by saying nie ma za co or przyjemność po mojej stronie. So how might you react then? You have two options. First one is just to say nothing. Don't worry, it's a normal thing to do. The second option is to say spoko. Spoko. This means something like it's cool. If you want, you can also answer using this phrase. Nie ma problemu. Nie ma problemu. This means it's no problem. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. If you want to keep it simple, just use dziękuję or dziękuję bardzo when you want to thank someone. It doesn't matter whether the situation is formal or informal. It's always the same. Remember not to say przyjemność po mojej stronie to your friends, because it will sound a little bit weird. If someone thanks you saying dzięki, just answer spoko. But please note that these two words are very casual. In this lesson, we're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Polish, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you are saying, even if their answer is no. Here's an informal way to say it. Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy mówisz po angielsku? Czy is a particle which has no meaning. It's similar to the English do. In Polish, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Since you can understand what the pronoun is by looking at the verb conjugation, we usually skip the pronoun itself. That's why there's no pronoun after czy. Next, we've got the verb mówisz, which means speak. Then there's po, which we always have to put right before a language name. And finally, angielsku, which means English. We're now going to make this sentence formal. First of all, we have to change mówisz into mówi, because the pronoun is changed from you into a respectful pronoun meaning sir or ma'am. Then we add pan, which means sir, or pani, which means ma'am. Everything else stays the same. Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Czy mówi pan po angielsku? Czy mówi pani po angielsku? Adding przepraszam, excuse me, makes the sentence more polite. Przepraszam, czy mówi pan po angielsku? Przepraszam, czy mówi pani po angielsku? The response you will receive could be one of these four. Tak, yes. Tak. Trochę. A little. Trochę. Nie. No. Nie. Nie. Nie mówię po angielsku. No, I don't speak English. Nie. Nie mówię po angielsku. Since the last one is a negative statement, we need to say nie before the verb mówię. Notice also that the verb is slightly different than before. Remember, the verb changes depending on the pronoun used. We are now talking about ourselves, so the sentence is nie mówię po angielsku. Now it's time for Joanna's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Polish people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute po angielsku with po niemiecku for German, po rosyjsku for Russian, po włosku for Italian, po hiszpańsku for Spanish, po francusku for French. In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in Poland. Gotowi? Are you ready? Zaczynamy. Let's start. There are a few informal greetings in Polish. Cześć. Cześć. Cześć means hi or hello. Another informal greeting is siema. Siema. This phrase also means hi, but it's used only by young people. Another very common greeting is hey. 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 Hey is very easy because it's exactly the same as English hey. All these greetings are very informal, and we should only use them with friends or close relatives. Now let's move on to formal greetings in Polish. There are only two that you need to know. We'll start with dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Literally, dzień dobry means good day. We can use dzień dobry during the whole day, from early morning until evening. If it's the evening, we would say dobry wieczór. Dobry wieczór. What should you say when you leave? Polish people usually say do widzenia when living in a formal situation. Do widzenia. Do widzenia means goodbye. If, however, we are saying goodbye to friends or relatives, we can use the informal papa. Pa, or simply pa. Now you can greet people and say goodbye in many different ways in Polish. Let's review them all again. First, formal greetings. Dzień dobry. Use this phrase during the day. Dobry wieczór. Use this phrase in the evening. The informal greetings are cześć, siema, hej. When living in a formal situation, we say do widzenia. And in an informal situation, it's papa or just pa. Easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Joanna's insights. Do you remember siema? It's an abbreviation of jak się masz, which means how are you? But we just use it in the same way as hi. It's a very common greeting among young people. You will find as you continue to study Polish that new greetings constantly appear among young people who often come up with new uses for well-known phrases or their abbreviations.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.